everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Art Things Considered, where we consider art. My name is Matthew Slaza.
I'm Sabrina Braga.
And I'm Nico Williams.
And that may sound weird to you, and the reason it sounds a little weird is because we are missing one of our favorite people here, unfortunately, and that is Isabella. She will be back next week, though, so don't worry. Those of you who are super scared.
No.
I was like waiting for you guys to be sad, and you just were like, yeah, dang right, she's gone.
Yeah.
There was more excitement here.
She's not here. No.
No, let's pretend we're sad. Yeah. But she'll be back next week, and of course we are a little sad she's not here. But she was kind enough to record a mini update on the Broadway beat for you guys this week. So here is her mini update.
Hey guys, it's Isabella with your mini Broadway Beat episode this week. Sorry I couldn't be there with Matt and Nico and Sabrina in person, but I had a jam-packed schedule. Not a lot to talk about this week. What I really wanted to focus on was the Anastasia show that opened up about 2 weeks ago. It wasn't the actual opening for the show, it was just the preview weekend, and it was the weekend of March 25th or 26th, I believe. And it happened over those couple of days, and I am just so excited about this show because the reviews for it from the fans and from everyone else have been fantastic. Everyone is loving it so much, and that makes me so happy. Because you guys know I've been talking about it a lot on the show. I've been very excited about this, and it's finally coming into light. They've been posting a bunch on the Instagram page during the first preview night. They had so many behind-the-scenes photos of the set and of the cast just like hanging around. There were a couple photos of like the music boxes and the little Romanoff sisters all standing around and dancing, and all the male cast in their dressing room, and it's so crazy. And all the fan reviews from Twitter have just been nothing but good things to say about the show, and I'm so happy to hear that. I was, not too worried about them changing the plot a little, but, it's with changing anything that's already a good story, you get a little nervous, but not with this. It's been so great so far, and I'm dying to see it in person now, Fingers crossed next time I go to New York, I can see it, noted. First I have to get to New York, but when that happens, I am going first thing, and I am seeing this show. I'm just so excited that it's doing so well. Just so far, the music has been amazing, they said the cast was amazing, and just the audience, I think, just fed off of that, and they fed off of knowing that this was an amazing story coming into it, and then just seeing it be played out in front of them. That must have been, like magic. I can only imagine. But I've also heard great things that a lot of people were saying about the costumes, which is a really huge part, seeing how it's taking place in Russia and then they switch over to Paris. So I just am so excited about this show. The actual show will be opening up on April 24th. So once that happens and a lot of more people are going to be flowing in, we'll get a better vibe of how exactly the show will be playing out. And they've actually opened up another block of tickets because of how well previews did, which is really impressive. They had sold out shows, I believe, all 3 days. I think on Theater Mania, they said the show's potential revenue was give or take a bit, like about 584,000. That's about the number I've got. And they had a full packed theater, 100% capacity, and the revenue that they made for the whole weekend was give or take about 629,000. That's crazy. Okay, and the weekend it opened up, put on the number 25 spot for the Broadway grosses of the week. So it sounds like this show is well deserving of making that money, and it sounds like they're giving back to the fans exactly what they said they were going to, which is just so fantastic to see. So, the dilemma. You don't live in New York, you can't see the show. So, how do you listen to the music? How do we get to feel that immersive experience of the show? Well, the good news is that I think about 2 weeks before previews began, Ramin Karamalou, who you guys I've mentioned in past podcasts, he's in the show as the new antagonist. He plays Gleb, the new Russian Soviet character who replaced Rasputin from the animated feature. And he announced on Instagram, I follow him on Instagram, and they also put it on the Anastasia Broadway Instagram page, which I gonna put this in here real quick. I really recommend going and following the page if you really want to like actively keep up with the show, or at least just know what's happening in it. They do a really good job showing behind the scenes stuff, like I mentioned earlier. So I'm hyping that up for a second. But he announced on Instagram that the cast album is being released in June, and you can start pre-ordering it now. Now, I'm not gonna pre-order it quite yet, just because I have faith in Ramin, because as many of you know, I adore him. He's been in Phantom, he's been in Les Mis. I love the guy. He's fantastic. But I haven't heard any of the other cast members ever in any shows. So I'm probably going to start looking more into them and seeing what they've done before in the past. And until then, I think I'm going to hold out to listen to the album till it comes out on, say, Spotify or YouTube or whatever else. So until then, we'll have to hang on, or at least I'll have to hang on, for any of you who are also interested in the show. But with that is the end of my Broadway Beat mini episode, and I'll hand it back over to Matt.
I gotta say, I'm actually pretty excited for that show, so hopefully we get tons of coverage for that for the next probably month or two, I'd say, timeline-wise. But anyway, that's going to move me to the local theater segment, which this week I was lucky enough to interview two people from the King Lear production being put on by UF. I'm actually kind of excited because the thing that's fun about Shakespeare is they tend to put in each production the setting in a different time than Shakespearean, because it's just more fun and more modern. And this one, from what I heard in the interview, I'll leave it for you guys, but it's going to be very interesting. So go ahead and take a listen. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's local theater segment for Art Things Considered. This week, we have two wonderful cast members from the King Lear production that is put on by UF, and that's going to be at the Constance Theater. It's going to be playing April 7th through 15th. You can get tickets at the O'Connell Center if you feel like walking all the way over to the O'Connell Center, or you can go online. I believe they sell them on Ticketmaster with a little bit of a service fee. Otherwise, if you have friends, you can get a group package. That'll save you a little bit of money. But either way you go see it, you should be excited to see it this week. You guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves, my wonderful guests?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Nick Bublitz. I'm a first-year MFA actor at the School of Theater and Dance.
And I'm Johnny Triumph. I am a first-year MFA actor as well from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's actually hilarious because when I found out you were from Wisconsin, my sister actually lives in Madison right now.
Oh.
So it's crazy. And I was actually I went to see a Brewers game when I went to visit her.
That must have been terrible. That must have. Yeah,
the stadium's dope, but
they're
Brewers,
not too good right now.
The Brewers were not so good.
I'm from Chicago, so me and Johnny are both Midwesterners.
Yeah.
We bond a lot over that. A lot of hard A's and moms and all that fun stuff.
Big.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Can you get
a lot of good greasy food from the Midwest.
I mean, cheese curds, man. I gotta tell you.
Oh man.
Yeah. Any type of cheese.
That's too true. I mean, honestly, the only reason I want to live in Wisconsin is because milk is so cheap there, cheese is so cheap there.
I came
Have
here.
you had to buy milk here?
I have, and I was depressed when I first came here. I was like, it's a whole $1 more.
It's
but
even
also,
more sometimes.
But liquor is cheaper.
Well,
So
silver lining.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of balances itself out.
Yeah.
Depends on where you go, though.
It's warmer here, and the liquor is cheaper, so it balances out.
You got one thing going for you: warmth and liquor. I guess those go together. You can always warm up.
That's why we drink so much.
Oh my God. Anyway, the Lear process. I know this is a pretty famous Shakespeare show, and I'm always curious how people go about when they get cast in something that's been done so many times. One, how did you go about keeping your performance fresh and original? But two, how did you go about balancing the weight that comes with doing such a major show?
Well, I know for the both of us, this is actually our first Shakespeare production. So it's something very new to us, which in a way it allows us to be a bit more organic with the process because we don't know how, necessarily like Shakespeare has been done before. So we're kind of immediately bringing our personal, a take on it, our own personal technique and tool to it. But we also understand the fundamentals of Shakespeare at this point. We're actually currently in a Shakespeare class that teaches us like what you need to do with the punctuation, where you need to take the perfect breath, or how to properly color the words
Yeah,
to
it's all
sustain the
about-
consonants and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's all about turning the rehearsal into the practice and keeping that with us from now until we die. And it's really interesting because we have our director, and then we have our Shakespeare teacher, who are two different people that teach and that educate in two different ways. So it's kind of an interesting process to kind of go from the class to the rehearsal room and just really kind of get a fully fleshed experience. I know for like Johnny just said, this is our first time doing it, Shakespeare, and it was a very interesting experience. And I'm really excited to see the reception, what audiences think of it, because it's definitely a newer take on King Lear, which is one of my favorite Shakespeare plays. I've definitely read Shakespeare before in my undergrad, and I've seen Shakespeare plays. I've just never been a part of it, partially because I'm 6'8" and I'm just a big presence on stage. So I don't think a lot of people, it'll be good for me to be in it, but I just never saw myself fitting into that world. But Dr. J, who's our director, she really crafted a world that's interesting and fresh, and tells King Lear in a newer style. It takes place in a very much Dali inspired 1930s. So there's beautiful, a lot of projections, a lot of lighting. That's just remarkable. The set is very minimalist. You got to come see it. It's really interesting. That's for sure. I wish I could sit back in the back row and just watch it and be like, that's interesting.
That's always I feel like that's always the hardest part when you decide to do a show. It's like, well, do I want to see this show or do I want to be in it?
Yeah.
Because I've been either a part of or in a couple shows that I was like, I really wish I could have seen that show. I heard it's really good. When people are like, oh, your show was really good, I was like, I wish I'd seen it. It would have been nice.
Totally. Yeah. No. I mean, like I said before, King Lear, I've read that. That was one of the first plays I've ever read, and I've always enjoyed it. So getting to be in one of my favorite Shakespeare productions, even one of my favorite Shakespeare plays, is really an interesting thing for me, because I would have never. I play Kent, who's the right hand man, King Lear, and who disguises himself after his banishment. Not going to give it away, spoiler alert. And I never really saw myself playing that character, so I'm definitely playing someone that I never thought I would play, which is interesting, and it gives me a challenge, because I always read for other characters, and I was just like, oh, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that, but now that I'm playing from this point of view, it's just a whole new experience for me, and just a really different perspective than I thought I would have. So that's cool. It's all about the perspective.
Absolutely. My character, I play the Duke of Cornwall, and if you're familiar with the script, he is a vicious, villainous individual, which is
I feel like you always get cast as villains.
I know, I really do, and it's crazy too, because for people who know me, they know I'm not like a angry, like super like tempered person. I really just am kind of like calm and kind of do whatever I do. But
Johnny's the calmest out of everyone.
That should be a compliment then. If someone thinks you can master like a personality or a style that's not necessarily compatible with yourself, that means you're acting. Like, you should take that as a gold star, dude.
That's great.
That's
awesome. I hope it comes off as vicious as I'm hoping it does.
It totally does. It totally
it's
does.
just like the physicality and everything, I had to change in general, because I'm like, I usually kind of this humpback type of thing, like this slouching type of thing. But with him, it's more so like a powerful, booming chest type of presence, So it's just kind of having that in the physicality as well as in the voice, and just like every little like small detail and facial expression. But so definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see how vicious I actually am, because
and
you're gonna see through my acts as well. It's gonna be some crazy stuff.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there watching Johnny be like, oh my god. No, it's definitely a change for me, and like for me too. I'm very. I talk fast. Like I said, I'm from Chicago, so I'm like, I have to get it out, otherwise I won't be heard at all. And I'm the big presence, but I also am very not boyish. I would say like energetic. I think I have a youth to me, and that's completely the opposite of Kent, who's more, he's seen the world. He's he has the age to him, and he has the wisdom, and you just root yourself like a tree, and you take the power. And it's, I think, the first time I'm really in this program have been taking advantage of that ability to kind of just plant and just really be strong. And it doesn't have to be with the words I say; it could be with the actions that I do. And I feel like that's giving me so much to work with, and it's teaching me a lot as much as it's teaching Johnny about, you know, his stuff too. I mean, it's a really they're really challenging, and it's a very, very arduous process, because you are working with a language that isn't
Your own, yeah.
our own colloquial
Yes,
language.
absolutely.
It's different, and you know, how does that translate for the audience? How does that translate for us? How does that translate as the whole? And just trying to kind of get that message across. It's a very complex and very intricate story. So just being as effective as you can with your acting, with the language that you're using, with the props that you're using, and the stage as a whole, and just conveying that story of King Lear. So I mean, long story short, I mean, it's a hard process, but I think all of us are doing phenomenal. So.
It's good to hear for someone who's going to see the show. I got to
Yeah, I
tell
hope you like it. I hope you like it.
you guys sold me on it. You're like, oh, no, you don't understand. Watch this guy. But this guy who's not even me is so good. It's like, oh, wow. Well, if everyone's good, I should see the show. You know?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. And our Lear is phenomenal. He's a second
man.
year. He's a second year MFA actor.
Michael Craig, he's a phenomenal actor.
Yeah. Oh, you'll. I'm on stage. I'm on stage with him, and no, I'm watching him work, and it makes me want to be better too. And it makes me better by being in scenes with him. And I feel like all of the actors on stage, we all kind of have that understanding that we're all working with one another to tell this story. And I think that is the best thing about this production. Any production, really, if you're really honed in on everyone and you're focused on telling that story, that's the best thing you can do. And I think that'll convey to the audience a stronger message than, you know, a disjointed one.
That's very true. Yeah, that's the only way you can really enjoy a show as an audience is if it's cohesive.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's cohesive in terms of pulling you in and out on purpose.
Yeah,
It has
exactly.
to have some sort of feel to it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really curious. You two both said that it's very different what you're doing role-wise. How did you guys adjust your acting process to become the character?
So I know at the beginning of the process, Dr. J, our director, that's what we call her, she gave us a series of questions, kind of like a character analysis. And it's very fascinating. You had to break down who you were, like a character like me, Duke of Cornwall. Like, what is my actual name? You know, that the audience doesn't know yet. You know, that's something for me to know. What do I think about? Like what's my favorite food? You know, things like that. Like, what are my mannerisms? Like, so for an example, something I do constantly is like I kind of ball my fist because I just have that, you know, that fiery personality. So I kind of ball my fist like subtly every now and then. Things like that. We all have secrets. One secret that, you know, people know, maybe not everyone knows, but like a certain amount of people know. And then we have like our uber secret that nobody knows that we're not supposed to tell anyone. Right. So
I've told one person uber secret.
I did too.
Oh my god. It was each other. We shared it. No. No. It's a really interesting process because when you're doing Shakespeare, you have to take into account that this is a period in which this was written. So we kind of use elements of Shakespeare, of Shakespearean style, Elizabethan acting, Elizabethan plays, and where, you know, most of our stuff is out to the audience, and we're talking to the audience because the audience needs to know that. And in, you know, the Elizabethan age and time when, you know, Shakespeare was writing, that's pretty much who they were too. That's who it was directed to. So it's kind of really about finding the connection with the people on stage, while also sharing it to the audience. And I think that was the biggest thing to me because I've done pretty much all contemporary plays. I've done short films, all that stuff, and it's all about who you're on stage with. So I think the biggest thing that I'm taking away from it is that this is a different style of being on stage. And you know, we enter and exit on the calipers, which was right on the side of the stage, and it's really geared towards that specific period, while also being different elements of the director's concept of Dali and all of these different cool projections and everything. So it's taking the old and making it new, which is what is exciting about it, because we're really getting an idea. We're really this semester, especially for us, we're steeping ourselves in Shakespeare and just kind of really kind of immersing ourselves into the world of this and when it was written, and reading a bunch of different plays. And so it's definitely been it's been like we've been building, and today the premiere is when we kind of see the fruits of our labor.
Yeah, I mean, when you put so many hours and work and sweat into something, it's always nice when the payoff comes, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. Is like, and Johnny and I, we've been out a little bit before we came back to get our MFA. We've been in films, we've done things, we've been in plays, and usually it's a small rehearsal time, and with films they could be immortalized forever. With theater and with this play, I mean, once it's done, it's done. It has a beginning, a middle, and end, and you do it for a certain amount of times, and you've worked so hard on this, and then it's over. And I think that really kind of stretches our muscles as actors, as any kind of different challenge would, like a film or web series, so on and so forth. So this is definitely it has a beginning, which is the first day of rehearsal, and it has a death, which is the last day. So I think, we work and we put on like 4 hours a day for a month and a half, maybe 2 months, Monday through Saturday, maybe, have Saturdays off and Sundays. And we really steep ourselves, steep? Is it steep?
I like steep.
Steep. Yeah. We really we drench ourselves and immerse ourselves in that world for, all of these hours a day while, having our own course load and while going and shooting short films and doing all that stuff. So it's kind of it's a juggling process.
Yeah. Like working on any show is, it's been a while since I've worked on a show, mostly because it can take up months of your life,
Yes.
And so my issue is like, I've talked about it numerous times on here, but like my background is mostly film and TV now, even though I used to be more of a theater person. And it's a different world in terms of film takes up just as much time if you're the crew, right? But if you're acting in it, it's like, all right, we'll do a couple rehearsals. Hopefully it goes well. And then like, y'all better be on,
Right.
And so like for me, the time is like what you guys put into a show. But it's so different for me to think, because I'm like, oh, I couldn't do a show. That would take over my life. And then I'm like, well, wait a minute. What I do takes over my life, too. I just had to choose, because even tacking a show, that's 3 weeks.
No, props to
Easily.
like our stage managers and the people that are working the show. They're doing such a phenomenal job, because this is a monster of a show, and we're doing this in the Constance Theater, which is a pretty big space. So there's set transitions, and there's projection transitions. So this is absolutely like the behind the set stuff, the behind the stage stuff is definitely equally as challenging, totally, 100%, if not more a little bit. But yeah, no, I totally, I have mad respect for everyone who can do the behind the stage stuff.
Absolutely.
It's
an interesting difference you're talking about too with like the film and television, because like we're working on both of them right now at the same time. What we do in the theater world and crafting this character from from the given circumstances, from the script, and then kind of from scratch and our own personality and trying to fuse it all together. It's what we kind of hope to achieve with film, but in a shorter process. It's like a condensed version of that. So like we have the luxury of having about a month or so to rehearse with a character in a play, but a film is like, all right, let me just. It's like the microwave version. It's like how can I make
like
this
that.
happen? And so like once you're in a film, you want to be just as genuine and just as like have your technique and tools firing at that same time as if you were just on stage in front of people. If you had to do this one time, you only got one time, and after that, it's a memory.
Yeah, they're different sides of the same coin. It's a mastering of a technique, and when you use things, I call it the bat belt of acting. It's like one time you need this, and the other time you need that. So it's just like blending mastering a set of techniques that you can blend for your own advantage. Because there's a lot of people that come from different places and they're like, oh, this technique's better. It's more or less of I'll take everything and use it for my best purpose whenever I'm in certain situations. And when you can do that, which is what Johnny and I are doing, then you can start to call yourself a master, even without the the MFA behind your name. You know, it's a learning process and a technique, and you know, we're definitely getting this experience, you know, for that purpose.
Yeah, and I always feel like anybody can do both. That says something. You know, like if you can walk on set and I can see you change, like that that makes you an actor. Like when we were having auditions for our final films and I saw both of you, I was like, oh, okay, so they're actors. Like there were people who came in and like read it with some sort of emotion they thought it had to have or something like that, and like, okay, they're getting there. But like, if I see you change and I see your tics change just on you choosing how to read a scene for a character, you're an actor. Like you might be beginning, like you might be learning, like whatever, but you guys like straight up killed it, and I was like, okay, that's how I know. You know, so that's the thing.
Why didn't you
that's
cast
what I like
me in
watching.
your short film then? No, I'm kidding.
No, thank you, man. We appreciate it.
No, that's you know, and that's why I think all of the all of the people at the School of Theater and Dance, all the actors, I mean, we hear such great things about you guys, which is why we go to you guys and you guys come to us, because building that relationship is an important thing, because, you know, right now we're the School of Theater and Dance. You know, if we were the School of Theater, Film and Dance too, that'd be even cooler.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
right?
You know, I mean, and I mean, that's obviously not going to happen in the next 2-3 years, but to kind of set that stone, like set those stepping stones.
We've been working that angle for a long time, and not so much that we're like the same school or anything, but more that if there's no relationship between us and theater, like no one's winning.
No, I mean, it's not even. I'm such an advocate of getting yourself into every type of form of what you like. If you like to do something, immerse yourself in it. And I've said immerse like 50 times, so I'll make sure I don't say that again. But get yourself involved and do different things. And if we can be the stepping stone to potentially being a school of film, theater, and dance, that would be cool, because, you know, we would be setting ourselves apart from every other program. And, you know, because film, believe it or not, film is a very successful venue when you're, you know, an actor, when you're in it. Yeah. And, you know, so is theater. You know, one isn't better or worse. You know, learning everything will always be for your advantage than anything else. So, I mean, hey, here's to hoping.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And
it's always funny because I know some people are primarily film or TV, and I know some people are primarily theater actors, and I always find it interesting because some of my friends who I know are film and TV actors are shocked at the amount of time that goes into theater.
Oh, yeah.
But then there are the friends that I have that are theater actors that I see freeze trying to figure out how the heck to form this character in a week sometimes. And I'm like, it's not as easy as you think. Like, the other side of the coin is never going to be easy to do.
Yeah.
But if you know both, not only can you go like, oh, I got to fill in for this role in theater, like they need to cast someone in 4 days. I had to do a film last minute, so I know how to form my character. Like, they all help each other.
Yeah.
It's acting for a reason. Just like film is making art. Just because it's making art in a different form doesn't mean it's like any better or worse than theater. And so I always talk to people because I love both. Yeah. So I'm always the ambassador for my friends, and it's like, no, you don't understand. Like, I have friends who don't want to go see theater because they're like film buffs, and I'm like, I'll go see the show, and I'll show them like Putnam, or I'll show them like more of a dramatic, like whatever fits for them, and all of a sudden, yeah, right. Putnam was amazing.
Yeah.
But I'll show them something that like they didn't think could be done in that realm, and then it's like, okay, so theater's not just like Shakespeare, or theater's not just like Hamilton. Theater is theater, like it's open and just as open as TV and film to different interpretations.
Yeah,
and a lot of good theater, you see that the storyline is so compelling and so amazing that they actually end up becoming films. Like you see,
and vice
fences,
versa. Yeah, you see films.
Absolutely.
And you gotta take. I mean, you gotta take into consideration too. Like, theater was the film venue for when there wasn't film.
Exactly.
Like without theater, we wouldn't have what we have now. And theater is still growing into something new and unique. And that's been the path that it's taken for the last 1,000 years. Like how many years? Like lots of them. Like we've been. The theater has been evolving since, you know, the Greeks, and we're constantly now we're starting to build and do more things, and, you know, we have the responsibility of taking that into the future as artists and creators and all that stuff, just as much as we do with film. You know, so for people that kind of have that attitude, like, oh, I don't like film, I don't like theater, or, you know, vice versa. I don't think anyone has ever said I don't like film, but if I don't like theater, you know, like, you have to check yourself. You'd be like, this is theater came before film.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, without theater, there wouldn't be film. So, you know,
It's something so exclusive about the experience as well. It's
yeah.
like, you know, like just like with Lear, it's only going to be open for that week. And it's
Yeah.
only going to be this specific production with these actors under this direction, with these certain costumes, with this set, you know, with this overall influence, you know, so like, you either take part in this experience or you don't,
Yeah,
and you don't
you
get
either
another
go or
chance.
you miss.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
training day. Oh, you can go see that right now. You can go see that. I'm
I
sure
have
you
it on
can,
my phone right now.
You know what I'm saying, like you can really
don't.
watch it right now. But this play, it's only going to be up that time.
You know, film is one and done, and theater can be different every time you see it.
That's what's beautiful to me about theater. Like I'll go, like I've gone to New York a couple times just to see shows.
Yeah.
Because like the thing is, there are just certain experiences you can't get back. Like if
Oh,
you
no.
miss a show, good luck. I hope a local production comes, because like that's like I saw Dear Evan Hansen last time I was in New York, and I got to tell you, like we paid crazy amounts of
When
money
did
for
you
those
go see it?
tickets, but we saw it in January, end of January, and that show is one, yes, so good, but two, like. That, to me, shows me where theater's going, because like projection art is becoming
Yes.
more popular,
Oh,
like
don't get me
integration
started
of
on this.
video and like taking, because that's the way that theater is taking distance from the person in the show and collapsing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if someone, like for Dear Evan Hansen, there's an entire portion of the show where it's like that person from that town making that testimonial video is you in the show. Like you feel like you're in that moment.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know how long you're gonna be here for, but I love theater that takes technology and does something cool and just kind of really like it takes where we're going and it kind of blends it into now. And Dear Evan Hansen is actually one of those shows that do that. But right now, Johnny and I are cast in a summer workshop of a New York based play that these people from Tilted Windmill Productions, I think, who did Puffs, which was last year's about the 7 years of Harry Potter.
That's still gone. That just
Yeah,
got
that's still
extended.
going.
Yeah.
Those same people, the writer and the director, are coming down and they're doing a show called Damned, tentatively titled Damned, which is a Western, it's like Wild Wild West meets True Grit meets Westworld.
It's hilarious.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it's hilarious. It's a comedy, and it's going to be very interactive. So audience participation is going to be heavily used, and I know we're here to talk about Lear, but that's also something that we're going to be doing here. It's a workshop coming down from New York, and they kind of test out the waters, and then they bring it back to New York and
That's
use it.
so
and,
cool.
You know, right now Puffs is off Broadway, and it just got extended. You know, so like who knows where it's going to take us, but the technology, the integration of technology is becoming more and more prevalent in the theater industry. So I mean, who knows where it's going to go, but I'm so mad that you saw Dear Evan Hansen.
I know everyone's like, because when I saw it, everyone's like, yeah, okay, and now they're like, wait, you saw that back then? It's like I was the person who saw Hamilton when they were open for the first 4 months. You know what I mean? Like, no, I didn't see it. I'm saying I'm that person.
No, I
now.
know
Like,
that show is gonna. I mean, like, and I was on the Hamilton wagon from like day one.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
From day one, like I knew about it, and I was like, huh. And then the music started coming on. I was like, oh my god, this is really good. Who doesn't know about this? Who needs to know about it? And much like Dear Evan Hansen, like when everyone came out, when the songs came out, I was just like, holy crap, this is gonna be something
This
big.
is it, yeah.
And like I got all my friends attached to it, and they're, you know, I have one that was just like, she's like, I spent $300. I'm going to see a ticket, like $300 on an actual ticket. Like,
Plus
to see
the
it,
airfare,
not even
yeah.
including the airfare. So I mean, for Johnny. I don't know if you know, it's a really interesting play. And for
have you not heard of
viewers
Dear Evan
listening,
Hansen?
I haven't. No.
for the
I'll send
listeners
you the
out there,
soundtrack. Actually, I have an
yeah,
extra copy.
I
if
will
you
give you
wanna
my
listen.
soundtrack. It's such a good show.
Dude, like the thing about me in theater is like I will admit I'm not that picky of a person when it comes to theater, is in terms of like, if you give me a good story, you got me, like
Yeah.
that's fine. But the thing about a show is like, if a show has an endearing enough and like clear enough narrative that the soundtrack will tell you the show, then they're killing it.
Oh yeah,
Because
totally.
like Dear Evan Hansen, you can pretty much get the story from the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Hamilton, obviously.
Yeah,
you can.
Hamilton
the
is
entire
all-
show.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that's because it's
Like
that
the
style
audio,
show.
that's dope,
48
though.
songs later, like yeah, no, it's such a good show.
I mean, this episode obviously sponsored by Dear Evan Hansen on Broadway.
Yeah, exactly.
Send us some free tickets. I'd be
Oh
so
my
happy.
god.
But yeah, so getting more to the point, I'll have one final note on it. Is that my favorite thing currently, because they're my two loves, is trying to find a way to get on that niche that's happening right now. The combination of the two, and like I actually recently saw that there was a production being done where they had a giant screen behind them. And there was like they were still set, but like the giant screen behind them was like cameras live switching to cover the actors. So you were watching like a film version and the show. And it was so weird, but it was so interesting.
AF.
And I was just like, that's crazy, because like you can see them and like you can feel that moment, but then like you can look up and see like a close up of the actor's face. Like it's a really interesting melding. And I think they're trying to kind of cross-reference the feelings of the two experiences and like kind of feel it out. But I love experimental theater for that reason. We have a little tiny bit of time left, so I'll do the customary why should people go see the show, or do you have anything else left that you want them to know before going in? And then we'll go ahead and wrap up.
All right,
I've talked the whole show.
Why should people come see the show? I mean, there's just a whole bunch of reasons. For one, there's just a lot of amazing stuff that happens with fight choreography. Even the person who isn't necessarily too much into theater will appreciate that, because the fights look amazing. They look very real. And you know, this is my first time working with fake blood as well, so you know some people get hooked up with some blood, some blood packs, and
there's no spoilers. Who's dying?
We don't know what happens with that blood, but just know that it will be used.
It's just for Bloody Marys, right? Yeah, that's
of course.
The Bloody Marys.
It's drunk Shakespeare, pretty much.
I'm sure your fight call is hell then. If it's
Speaking of long. What any other?
But also too, it's just, for one, it's a great story. It's a great story to see, and it's a contemporary approach to it as well. We're not delivering the lines in necessarily like a Shakespearean way. It's very contemporary. We focus on like operative words and stuff like that. So we're able to. We have the audience in mind when we're saying everything that we're saying. So it's really meant to cater to the audience that they have here. And it's one that they appreciate. If you don't like Shakespeare, you might like this one. You might be like, oh, well, actually, it's not that bad.
It's not your typical Romeo and Juliet. It's not typical Shakespeare. It's King Lear. And at the heart of it it's a family drama. And it's really something that's, power and what happens when you relinquish power and what happens when you ascertain power. So it's absolutely something that is currently, it's currently in all over the media, and what happens with power and.
Right. So what you're saying is it's like a theater version of Pretty Little Liars. That's what I'm hearing.
Oh my God. Yes. No. No. It's there's so many good. Like all of the actors in it are super good. We have a kid, and I want to give props to him because he's awesome. We have a kid that stepped in for the role of Oswald because the original cast member unfortunately fractured his knee, and he stepped in 2 weeks ago. And this kid,
he's already killing it.
This kid's a freshman, and he is already killing it. He is killing it. His name's James. He's doing such a good job, and things happen in theater where you have to, something like that happens. So he's been rolling with the punches, and he's been killing it, and he has like extensive fight choreography that he picked up like that. So come for the fight choreography come for us, for Johnny and Nick, who are
J&T.
Or
J&N.
Really, yeah, J&N. Come for Johnny Triumph, really, more than Nick.
But Bic Nublets.
Bic Nublets, yeah. But yeah, no, I mean it's a really good show, and obviously it's the last week of school, so if you want to kind of get something in before you either graduate or go back home for the,
let this be your
for
study
the weekend.
break.
Yeah, for the weekend, for the summer, come and see it. Come and take your mind off of something and watch people tell this really cool story.
Absolutely.
I completely agree. And
you only get 1 week.
Yeah, I was gonna say yet again. It's going to be open. It opens tonight, actually, but it's going to be the 7th through the 15th at the Constance Theater. Be sure to get your tickets as soon as possible. I'm pretty sure they'll be available for next weekend until next weekend, but you never know.
Sometimes it sells out.
Sometimes
get
it
tickets
sells
now.
out. So, the good old-fashioned flashing sold out could happen soon sign. And thanks again so much, guys, for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Special thanks to them for letting us interview them, and special thanks to UF Theater. It was a fun interview as always, and those guys are pretty darn talented. So be sure to see them in the show. I dropped all those deets for you a second ago, so I won't repeat. But yeah, and then also opening this weekend, we've got 2 other shows that are opening, and another show that's been playing for a while, if you haven't seen it. How to Succeed in Business Without Trying is still playing at the GCP. It's the last weekend for that, so if you want to go see How to Succeed in Business, this is your last chance. Also opening this weekend, as previously just mentioned, King Lear, you have theater at the Constance. And then lastly, opening at the ART is Columbinus. And that might sound familiar to you, and the reason is because this show is semi-based on fact and fiction of the Columbine incident, and it goes in depth on the people and the types of people involved and what their reactions were before or after. It's a really interesting story, and it has a lot of basis in interviews that were done after and some reenactments of some things that people mentioned about the massacre, if you will. And it's an interesting story, so it's worth seeing that at the ART again, Across Town Repertory Theater. You can go to acrosstown.org for those tickets, and that's going to be playing April 17th through April 23rd. Always good to see a show that has a meaningful story. So if you're looking for something a little more serious this weekend, rather than say How to Succeed in Murder or King Lear, it might be worth checking that out. But that's it for the local theater segment. I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Sabrina, who's going to talk about a show we've heard a lot about this semester and how it wrapped up.
Yeah, so I feel like I have been talking about this show a lot, or at least for the past month or so, but I will be talking about Big Little Lies again and about the finale that just aired this past Sunday, the 2nd, right?
Sure.
Yeah, April 2nd.
Today's the 4th. 5th, right?
Yeah, today's the 5th. Okay.
Fifth.
Okay,
So, yeah,
so
Definitely.
yes, that's good. Okay. So, I'm not going to get spoiler heavy as much as I would want to, just because I know my fellow co-stars might be interested in watching it, and
sure.
people who are listening might have not seen it yet, but what I can say is, wow. Definitely one of the best TV finales I've ever seen, and I have seen a lot. So
throw your qualifications in there.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of television.
just so you know where I'm coming from, I've finished a lot of shows, and the last time I got satisfaction out of a finale like that was probably maybe Breaking Bad. This might have been more satisfying.
Wow.
Yeah. So I liked it a lot because the end is kind of about female empowerment and how it's important to have your girlfriends, because this whole show has been leading up to such a huge event. As you may have known, as I've said in the past, there's a murder that happens. You don't know who the murderer was or who got murdered. But you when you're watching, you have your guesses. There's one specific character that has no redeemable qualities, so you're just kind of hoping that it's them.
But you're also secretly like, oh, well, I know it can't be the one person I'll assume.
Right. So that would be too obvious. But what I can say is who the person who murdered whoever died definitely didn't see that coming. So that was if you can predict that, then you must have some sort of psychic ability or anything, because
I'll watch the show. I'm gonna
give me
predict
some
it.
lotto numbers, because trust me, you won't see it. It was so.
I'll trust you.
It's
one time.
It's very what, and the way that person murders the person who dies as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was very very surprising. I liked it because this whole show has kind of been leading up to this moment, and the entire time it's kind of like a mom's fight, they're pitting against each other or whatever, or oh, these women are so ridiculous, they'll bury you for anything. And then at the end, it's kind of the big thing that happens is more important than having all these very trivial problems and drama with each other. And I loved that it just ended with female positivity and women are powerful, and look what we can do when we put our differences aside, sort of thing. Nice. And it was great. So definitely would recommend it. I I know in the beginning of the show, I did think it was a little boring. I was like, where is this going? I feel like everything is so confusing. But what I will say is that 7th episode is definitely worth watching and being confused and being like you're not getting any of the answers or that it's super slow. That last episode really ties it all together, and it's just so satisfying. I wasn't expecting for it to be that satisfying, but I was watching it with my roommate and my boyfriend, and all of us were like, yeah, go do it, like you got this, like, and we were just so happy with how it turned out. And I would like, it takes a lot for my boyfriend to be like, wow, that was really good, like I can't see anything wrong with that. And he said that. So I was like, okay, well,
Yeah,
this
I'm the
is
same
obviously
way.
a good show.
So I'm really intrigued. See, like I was like, maybe I'll watch that show, but now
Yeah.
I feel like I have to.
No, it was really good the way it was edited. At first, you don't think you're going to find out what happened because they kind of edit it in a way so that's like, oh, we're not going to show you like who actually killed this person. You kind of are like left to your own assumptions or devices. And my roommate was like, oh, maybe they're not going to show it. And then I'm like, no, they have to. And then at the very end, they do show it. And I'm just like, oh my God, yes. Like, this is exactly what I wanted to happen. And yeah, it was very good, very powerful. I definitely want to read the book now to get more detail because it is based on a book. It's set in Australia, though, not in Monterey. But
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
yeah, which is curious because I'm wondering if that's maybe a reason why they got Nicole Kidman, because isn't she Australian?
No idea.
I think she is.
Probably though.
Yeah. Well, so I'm pretty sure she's Australian, but like
You're questioning your knowledge.
I know she has an accent, but I know she's not British. So it's like, okay. Yeah, she's Australian for
I think
sure.
she is because I think when I was watching a Jimmy Fallon bit, they were talking about him going on an accidental date with her or something, and she definitely had an Australian accent.
Yeah, you're right. I watched that bit. It was funny.
We're
But
both late night nerds apparently. Okay.
yeah, so yeah, I can't recommend it enough. I'm going home this weekend, and I told my mom to watch it so that by the time I get there, we can watch the finale episode because I'll definitely watch it again. I've already seen it 3 times.
Wow.
So-
You must have really loved that.
I did. I liked it. The music is phenomenal as well. If you have Spotify, they have a Big Little Lies playlist so that you can search for that and find it. I really like the music, but that's just because I really like 70s San Francisco Bay Area music, like Grateful Dead
feel
and
you.
whatever. So yeah, I really liked it. Can't say it enough. And honestly, that's also the only TV I've watched, so that's probably why I'm talking about it so much. Senior year problems, but yeah, that's all I have for today.
Yeah, I feel you. I've only been able to watch like 30 Rock. I started to watch Girls, and then I got yelled at by my girlfriend, so I stayed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I guess she wanted to watch it together, and so I stopped at the end of season 2.
I thought you got yelled at by your girlfriend because she maybe didn't like Lena Dunham or whatever.
Oh no, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
But she wanted to watch the show together, I guess, and
Oh.
so I
That
stopped at
happens in
season
a
2.
relationship.
Yeah.
I've definitely gotten mad at my boyfriend for watching something
No,
without
I
me.
mean,
Come on,
it's
man.
I've
That-
gotten mad at
that-
her too, but I didn't
come
know
on.
she wanted to watch it. Like, I don't know how I missed that. I think like a year or 2 ago we talked about it in passing, and I just never thought
But
about
see,
it.
these are the little details that us women tell you guys to hang on to.
I know.
There's a catalog that they have. I'm telling you, like
They do, yeah,
archive-
like legit.
That was archived when y'all talked about it. It was
In our
archived.
catalog doesn't matter at all. Like we'll mention our stuff from our catalog, and they're like, "Oh no, whatever." And then,
No.
like we've talked about it for months. What are you talking about? They're like,
See,
oh, it doesn't matter.
One time, my boyfriend listens to this podcast where the guy just mentioned his wife's name. Her name's Jackie.
Mm-hmm.
And then one time he was referencing it, and I was like, oh, the guy who's married to Jackie. And he was like, how did you remember that?
I'm not saying that
So-
you guys don't remember anything. I'm saying like if we bring up the fact that you don't remember something, somehow it's not their fault.
Like, no, that doesn't count.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
this, that.
It's just funny.
Well, yeah, it
especially
doesn't-
TV
it doesn't
shows.
count.
Yeah, because I mean, girls always win the argument. But that's
Yes.
beside the point. The point is, watch what is it? Pretty Little Lies, Big Little Lies.
Pretty
Little
Little
Lies?
Liars is like the opposite of what this
No.
show is.
I know. I just thought it was a similar name. It's Big Little Lies. Is that what it is?
It has to do with lying and secrets. So, no, it's called Big Little Lies.
Okay, yeah, I got it. No, I got it on the second time.
Yeah.
I said Pretty Big Lies or something.
You said Pretty Little Lies.
I think because I thought it was like one word off of Pretty Little Liars, and I was like, this is a very different show.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's interesting. I'll have to check it out. I'll let you know. I have a pretty good track record of watching the shows you recommend, so we'll see.
Yeah, because I know what's up.
Yeah, and I'll be talking about one of those shows that I recently finished that she recommended for me
Oh, okay.
in
Great.
my segment.
Okay, great.
But moving on from that, we're going to go ahead and head over to Nico. He's going to talk about some nerd stuff for us, and there's a lot to talk about this week.
First off, starting with news that no one cares about.
It's always good to start off with.
Michael Bay has allegedly he has the stories planned out for the next 14 Transformers movies.
Stop. This has to be it. This isn't an April Fool's.
You sure that's not an Onion joke?
Oh no.
No.
Okay, so as the story goes, he's
Stop.
retiring from the series, right?
Uh-huh.
So
As director, right? But not producer.
I mean, it just says retiring from the series. So
Aye.
yeah, so I'm assuming this was going to be the last one, the last night. It sounds very
It sounds final.
climactic. But he has apparently has the stories planned out. 14
What's
of
the
them.
source for this? What's the source for this?
This is via I believe this is via Yahoo Movies.
I mean and it wasn't on April 1st?
No, this is like
Today.
I believe.
Oh my god, dude. I'm not okay with this.
Wait, what?
Are you okay with this? Like this actually being factual? This makes me like upset.
It
I
makes
don't
me.
want to see that many Transformers. It's only so
I
much
don't
robot
know.
fighting you can like. There's only so many ways you can fight robots that
Yeah.
don't exist.
I'm more pissed about the stupid trailers I'm gonna have to sit through for
Yeah.
the next
Me too.
20
Explosions,
years or
big-
so.
Explosions, big robots.
It's just nuts. I mean, to be fair,
I don't think-
financially,
I don't
it's
think there's gonna
fair.
be like actual movies.
I
but,
hope not.
The only thing that that it does say is something about a Bumblebee solo movie.
I mean,
Which
I like Bumblebee,
I was about to say Bumblebee's, he's lovable.
But
I
come
guess.
on,
but it'd have to be written
guys.
really well.
There's only so many. Like maybe he's gonna actually be able to talk in this one.
That'd be dope. He gets his voice or something.
And
Yeah.
then like he gets shanked or something, and then that's when the radio starts playing. And
Can
he
I
can't
say,
really put
here's the
actual
issue
words together.
though. That movie would only be good for like 30 minutes, and it's going to be a 2-hour long movie.
You're right. What if
So-
they get Shia LaBeouf to come back though?
Then
That would
I'd
be
laugh.
interesting.
I don't know
That'd
if
be
I'd watch
hilarious.
it.
That'd be hilarious.
Anyway, besides our continual hatred towards Transformers and the fact that we now have to sit through 14 more trailers,
Possibly. Allegedly
what else
14
is
more
going on?
trailers. Also, in Spider-Man news, there is a some revelation on the gadgets that are
Ooh.
going to be in his suit.
That's exciting.
So you
In
know,
Homecoming?
yeah, for Homecoming, they have Tony Stark building his suit, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So he has some Jarvis type AI
Ooh.
in there.
Cool.
He also has a parachute, a tracking device, a heater, because it gets cold in New York.
It does, yeah.
An airbag.
And apparently in
so-
DC, because we saw him in the trailer in DC.
Oh, that too. He travels. An airbag, because accidents. And the suit lights up because people like flashy things.
People do like flashy things, yes.
Yes. There's also a function called training wheels that's gonna allow Tony Stark to control which of the suit's gadgets Peter can access, which is gonna be interesting since this seems like there's gonna be a very Tony heavy presence in this movie.
Yeah, I gotta admit I was surprised because based on the trailer, I was like, okay, that they probably just used his like one scene in the trailer, but they keep talking about how involved he is. I didn't expect them to have him in this movie very much, particularly because he's expensive, like from a financial perspective. But two, I just didn't expect him to be that involved in his story, in Spider-Man's story. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll watch Robert Downey
pretty
Jr.
cool.
every day.
Yeah.
Forever. So like that's fine. I'm just surprised. If anything, it's like a positive. It's just kind of like, ooh, what are they playing at here? What's going on? Because this is set in the the overall MCU. So what is this impacting otherwise? You know what I mean? I'm interested to see how they're integrating that.
I'm not sure.
Because
Well,
it's got to tell us something about post-Civil War if Tony's involved. You know what I mean?
You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
You're definitely right.
Matt is right this one time.
One time.
You hear that, Sam?
Oh, that's crazy.
She's going to kill me for that one. Anyway.
So yeah, Spider-Man: Homecoming set to release on July 7th. We're gonna.
I'm waiting in line already.
Already.
I'm
We're
waiting in
gonna
line.
skip around to keep it Spider-Man related. Also, there was an explanation for why there is no Uncle Ben
Really?
in the movie.
Because origin
tired of it.
story.
Yeah, they don't want to re-edit. They don't want to revisit the origin story. They said there's reference to Uncle Ben.
I
that
mean,
he's no longer
there's gotta
around.
be.
Yeah, like there's a reference.
But
It's
there's
not like they're just
no
cutting him out.
reason.
There's no
But-
reason to show footage of Uncle Ben.
Yeah, like,
Right.
Like, we're tired of Uncle Ben.
how many
Both Uncle
times
Bens
does
were
he
great.
have to die
Like,
for us to like get it?
Yeah.
You're Spider-Man. Like,
That's what I get annoyed about with like Spider-Man and Batman. It's like we don't need origin stories every time. So that's why I'm glad
Yeah.
that the most recent iterations are ignoring rehashing that and just starting the franchise.
That's true.
I'm looking forward to that.
Also, there was a mention of 2 new villains. Not necessarily new villains, but more villains to come in this particular franchise.
Ooh.
Doc Ock was
Oh yeah,
mentioned,
you
Yes.
have to have Doc Ock. That's one of the most popular villains.
and Venom was also mentioned
So,
So-
I'm confused on Venom, right? Because
they were talking about doing the Venom solo movie. too.
yeah, and without like introducing him prior, was what they said. Because if they introduce him prior in an MCU movie, then they kind of have to let them use Venom. So I'm really interested to see how that's going to work out. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I would just hope if they do go along with the Venom versus Spider-Man plot, that it's just Venom.
Yeah.
And it's not like
3 other
Venom and Sandman
supervillains.
and Rhino and
I think Marvel would not make that mistake. I think it'll be okay.
let's hope.
Fingers crossed.
Let's hope. Also, some Avengers news.
Ooh.
Chris Evans has revealed that following the 4th Avengers installment, he will probably no longer be playing Captain America.
I read this article and it was so funny because he just like
He's just like, man, I'm 37.
no,
man."
no, but like he threw Marvel under the bus because he was just like, I love the character. I'll play the character again, but my contract ends after this. But my contract ends after this. But my contract. He brought it up 4 times in the interview. I'm like, so he either wants this renewed or he wants to know it's going to be done, huh? Because he is not happy to be playing this character without knowing where it's going to go. I guess
I mean,
it's very interesting the way he talks about it.
he was saying that they're like reinventable titles, referring to like the way they changed Batman, and even referencing James Bond.
I mean, I'm sure that it wouldn't be like that. It'd probably be more like either Bucky or the Falcon taking over for him. I doubt that it would be a recasting of the character itself.
I mean, I don't know.
Because in the comics, there are times where both of those characters take over.
Yeah,
So it
but,
would be
you
a lot
know,
easier to pull off.
I mean, you don't know. We don't want to get too political here, but I figure
It's not gonna be the Black Captain
It's
America.
not gonna be the Falcon. I can just say that now. It's more than
I
likely.
knew you were going to
It's
say
like
it.
89% sure it's not gonna be him. So if anybody, it's gonna be Bucky.
If Donald Glover for Spider-Man taught us anything, it's that
Exactly, because
superheroes-
Donald Glover still hasn't been Spider-Man.
He voiced Spider-Man. He got something. He got a little nibble. He got a nibble
He
of
got
the
a
character.
nibble, but come on.
We'll
We all
see,
wanted
man.
to see him come out of the mask.
Me too. But, I think that, they'll probably have Bucky do it. But I hope that they at least keep Falcon super involved because he's one of my favorite characters, honestly.
I hate Bucky.
No, not Bucky. Falcon. Falcon's one of my favorite characters.
I know. I'm just saying I
So you're
hate
gonna-
Bucky.
If he does become Captain America, will your hate transfer to Captain America?
No, it'll just make me angry
Confused.
at Captain America for leaving.
That's fair.
You're gonna
Or
write him
Marvel.
At the
angry
new
emails
Captain,
and
yeah.
fan mail. Like, why
Yeah.
would you do this to us and leave us with him?
I like Sebastian Stan a lot. I
I like him too, but I do think
just
that his
don't
take
like
is...
Bucky. Like, ugh, wash your hair.
His hair does look very slimy.
It does
so
look sketchy.
greasy.
It does not look pleasing to the eye. Mm-hmm. But besides Captain America,
Also, Infinity War stuff. Corvus Glaive and Supergiant are possibly gonna be in this film.
really?
Yeah.
Why? Why?
I can't answer that question.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought I was talking to the directors of Infinity Wars. I apologize.
Oh, I mean, I don't have the answers, but you know.
Yeah, no, their list is getting nuts, dude. So I don't know. We'll see. I think there's just going to be shout outs to tons of crazy characters in Infinity Wars, and whoever catches them are the true fans, I guess. But
Yeah.
whatever.
It's probably gonna be a bunch of background people.
Oh,
They're gonna
yeah.
get, like,
That's
40
still so niche.
6
Even
seconds
like
of-
I won't catch it.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe,
you.
but probably not.
I'm just excited to see Howard the Duck is confirmed for Infinity Wars. After that cameo, I'm kind of excited because that was really interesting. But no, they said their character count is like 100 or something now for the 2 movies. So
Sheesh.
yeah, it's crazy. It's gonna be crazy to juggle, and it's gonna be crazy for post production. I can tell you that much.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be all the like extra CGI and
Mhm.
stuff. It's gonna be crazy.
gonna
Like
be
because those 2 characters, I believe, are like all CGI.
Pretty much, yeah. You can't
That they were
really
saying.
approximate that in real life very well. I mean, you could have
There's
them
no
there
way.
and then add in post, but it's gonna be rough.
Yeah, there's no way. Also, the Defenders teaser has been released.
Yeah, I saw the elevator thing.
Yeah, the elevator thing.
Yeah, I haven't watched the full clip yet because I haven't watched Iron Fist and I don't want spoilers, but we'll see.
Yeah, so the show is set to release this year, August 18th. Not that far.
They finally gave a date?
Not
Oh,
that
that's
far
exciting.
down the line.
All right.
So, you know, folks who haven't caught up on the Marvel series, go ahead and watch those.
Have either of you seen Iron Fist?
No.
I haven't started yet.
I was told by my coworkers to not bother.
That's the thing. I've been told
Oh,
a lot of
jeez.
bad things from people, and I want to
Yeah.
watch it just to be completist, but I don't want to watch it if I'm going to hate it. I was told that, like, out of the 13 episodes, 2 of them are good.
See, that's pretty bad.
Yeah,
That's
no, that's
not
not
good
good
at
at all. No.
Yeah.
I wasn't going
So-
like, oh, that's a win. No, I was going, that's insane.
Yeah, so for me, it's like not bothering for my time.
I think the only reason I'll give it a shot, I'll like start watching. If I get through the first 4 episodes and I don't like it, I'll probably stop. Because like with Jessica Jones, the first episode's okay. 2 and 3 aren't amazing, but then 4 is when the whole show gets really good.
Right.
So I like to try to give shows, especially Marvel shows, because even Daredevil started off really slow. You got to give them a couple episodes.
I mean, I don't know. I guess with Daredevil, I guess I didn't see it that way because, like, I was kind of already pre-invested in the character.
I mean, I like Daredevil, but I was a little bit more pessimistic when I first started watching the show.
I just started watching Daredevil like over winter break with my brother, and I tried continuing it without him, but I had to stop because
Not good.
it's good. Don't
You
get me
have to get-
wrong.
I was about
It's
to say, you
just
have
you
to
could
get to
really
see
hear the comic writing in it, especially with any dialogue Foggy has with anybody. And then also
I love Foggy though.
I
He's
love
my
him
favorite
too.
character.
Yeah, he's my favorite too. And then the really unforgettable blonde, or like not unforgettable, the
Forgettable.
forgettable blonde. What's her name? Karen. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
her.
Yeah.
She's just eh. And then also,
I mean,
this
she's
is
cute. She's just there to be cute. It's kind of sad.
the last reason why, and main reason why I stopped watching is because I could not stand to hear Wilson Fisk say, "This city is falling apart. This city used to be so great." Like, oh God, I just
Yeah, that was
like-
pre-Trump too. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I
It's
was about
like-
to say it's very Trumpish.
This
Yeah.
city, or like you have to say the city. Hell's Kitchen is literally 10 blocks
Of the city, yeah.
of New York. I don't know. I get that's the purpose of Daredevil, and that's his domain, and
Yeah,
that's
just keep
fine.
watching.
That's your jurisdiction.
Keep watching. Let us know what you think.
I probably will keep watching. I just had to
Please.
take a break.
Season
'cause I
2
was
is
like,
much
You
better,
gotta
in my
get to
opinion.
season 2.
So
Season
yeah, it's
2 is
worth getting it
amazing.
through it.
Okay, I
For-
believe. I
the
trust
first
you
one's
guys.
their first show too. So you got to imagine that's a little bit of a
Yeah,
some training wheels came off.
yeah.
What else you got for us, Nico?
Also, Jessica Jones season 2, since you mentioned, is going into production.
And do we have a date on that? Is that's 2018, right?
No, we don't have a date yet.
I
It
think
says
I think they
later
said
this year.
every new season of the other shows were being pushed back to 2018 for the Defenders, but maybe they're going to drop it late 2017.
Yeah, I think they said it said later this year, but it didn't give a date.
I know
So
Luke
it's-
Cage is 2018, which is
It's
super
very
depressing.
easily possible for it to be 2018.
I guess we'll find
But
out.
they're trying to push for 2017, I guess, to keep people optimistic.
I'm waiting for that show, so you let me know.
Also, War for the Planet of the Apes trailer has came out.
Yeah, that
Haven't-
looked dope, dude.
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Let me know what you think when you watch it, Nico.
Kingsman is getting a second movie.
Super pumped about that. We talked about that a
Yes.
couple months ago.
Yeah,
but
I'm so excited
the
for
date
that.
got moved up. It
To
got
when?
moved up
To
a
when?
weekend or a week. I think it's in July, right?
Oh my gosh.
It might be.
I think it's in July. I might be wrong. Maybe it's in September. But I remember that it was coming out. I think it's July though. It was coming out like the weekend of another huge blockbuster movie or something, and so they
Oh.
moved it 1 week up so that it wouldn't.
That's a good idea.
Which is smart and also good for the movie, which makes me happy because if it was up against the other one, you'd be splitting your audience. It wouldn't make enough money.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that they're releasing it a week early.
What's awkward is there's a report that says Iron Fist is 2017 Netflix's most binged.
Oh yeah, no. So that's I actually read that article. The reason that's flawed is because it talks about the way they measure it, and it says they measure it based on hype before and after.
Oh, sure.
And the issue is tons of people were
hyped
like super
before.
hype,
Yeah, they were hyped.
and then they
before.
watched it, and then they were like saying it was bad. So there was tons of still talk about that.
All right.
And so yeah, a lot of people watched it, but that doesn't mean it was the best. So that's why it's hard.
Oh,
You know.
Kingsman's out in September.
Oh,
September
September.
28th.
Yeah, I see. I told you it was either July or September. I just couldn't remember which, but I'm excited. I'll go see that.
Yeah, I'd definitely go see that. And to round things off, Baby Groot is in a Geico commercial.
What?
He's in a Geico commercial.
Okay, well, I
That's
guess
all we really have to
That's
say about that.
cute.
I got nothing to say about that.
Okay.
I guess that's gonna wrap up Nico's segment. I'll go and move into movies. The box office this weekend, gotta tell you guys, a little surprised. Boss Baby opened to $50 million in the number one spot. Can you guys believe that? That movie with a
No.
little
Boss
boss baby that looked awful.
Well, I
Terrible.
guess DreamWorks is having the last laugh.
I mean, it's Fox, I think.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
I thought it
it's
was
labeled as
oh.
Fox. I don't know if it's like a subsidiary or anything,
Mm.
but it's labeled as Fox. So I mean, I'm just surprised, man. I gotta tell you.
I mean, I think it was really for the kids, though.
Yeah, but I don't know.
They
I mean,
have to have
I like Alec
escorts.
Baldwin now, so I guess good for him.
Now.
Yeah, I didn't use to
Because
like
of
him.
30 Rock.
Because of 30 Rock. But anyway, so Boss Baby number one, 50 million. Beauty and the Beast sticking around number 2 spot, another 45 million on that. That's up to almost 400 million domestic. I think it's going to hit $1 billion worldwide easily. Ghost in the Shell opened this weekend. No surprise, didn't do that well. Number 3 spot opening with 18 million on a budget of 110. It might make its money back. We'll see. Power Rangers number 4 spot with
Somebody told me that was
4.2.
actually good.
Ghost in the Shell. It doesn't matter.
Well, no, they said it was all right. Somebody told me Ghost in the Shell was all right, and then somebody else told me Power Rangers was good.
Power Rangers was dope.
Oh,
Yeah, go see Power Rangers. Power Rangers, I gotta tell you, I mean, I'm not even a huge fan of Power Rangers, and I liked this movie a lot, like a lot. So it just serves as like it serves as a standalone movie without having fan base. So surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5 spot, we've got Kong Skull Island, still sticking around there with 8 million. It's not a complete failure, but I doubt it'll span this monster trilogy or whatever they've been talking about, where they want to have that and then the Mummy and then all this other stuff. It'll be interesting to see. Number 6 spot is Logan, still sticking around, another 6.1 million there. Get Out made another 5 million. That movie is now at 156 million on a $4.5 million budget. Yes, there are Cinderella stories. Life in its second weekend dropped to the 8th spot. Not so good. 5.5 million on that. That movie is a bomb with only 22 million total and a $60 million budget. Probably won't make its money back. And I wanted to see that movie too, so that's kind of sad. Chips, number 9 spot with another 4 million. It only had a $25 million budget, so maybe DVD sales will push it over, but not so great. And in the number 10 spot, we have Zookeeper's Wife. The Zookeeper's Wife, that's a Focus Pictures film that opened with 3 million, and it's an indie flick, so with 3 million, we'll see. But that wraps up the top 10. Again, Boss Baby shocking everybody, and Beauty and the Beast not shocking anybody by staying in the number 2 spot. And that's going to wrap it up for movies. For Matt's thoughts, I mentioned earlier that there was a show I was told to watch
Right.
called 30 Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And last time I checked in, I was on season 4. I have now finished the show,
Oh my god.
and I have to tell you, it is so upsetting to be done with this show.
I know.
I don't even
That's
know
why
what to
you
do.
go back and watch it
I'm
for the
definitely-
4th time, like me, right now.
I'm definitely gonna watch it again. I'm not gonna lie. When
I
my
can't
sister,
believe you finished it.
it's an easy watch because they're like
It's
20
so
something
easy.
minutes,
Yeah.
and they're all funny, and you can kind of just watch it in between things. And when I was working on homework, I was watching it a lot of the time when I was trying to like not stress out because it's
Yeah.
stress time of the year.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I was watching it with like my girlfriend. We were eating dinner whenever there's downtime, so I
Yeah.
was just flying through it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so good, and the finale is actually really good, and I was surprised
Yeah.
because it's hard to have a good finale for shows like that. But it was
Yeah.
so sad because when it ends, you're just like, it's over.
I know.
What?
I know. But it's funny
Ugh.
because it ends with Kenneth being in charge of
Spoilers for everybody.
Oh, come on. It's
know.
been out for so long.
I just think it's
Yeah.
funny.
I love Kenneth. I think he's like one
I'm
of my
glad that
favorite
actually
characters.
happened because I didn't think that ending was going to happen. And I was really pumped about it.
Yeah.
And they did it in a way that didn't feel like, oh, this is the ending that has to happen. Like they made it make sense, which
Yeah.
was nice.
Yeah, and then Liz is with James Marsden, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're happy, which is nice.
Chris with a
and
K.
It's I gotta tell, like
And two
usually when I
S's.
watch a sitcom, the last season is not great. This one was pretty darn
great.
good.
It was great.
Which is impressive. And I think that they're really lucky though, because like their ratings were not good season 6, but because it was such a flagship show, they
Yeah.
renewed them for a 13 episode season for season 7 to kind of round it out. And I love it because in the like one of the last episodes of season 6 and then throughout season 7, they are just busting NBC
Oh,
constantly.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
The references to like Lorne Michaels and
That was funny, yeah.
NBC as a whole it's hilarious. I honestly I love that show with my entire heart. I love it so much. I can watch it over and over again, and each time I catch like little jokes I had forgot about. And
Yeah, no, they're
it's-
really good at that.
It's evergreen, really. Like I just love it. I'm so happy you liked it because not a lot of people watch 30 Rock.
It's kind of sad because it's honestly it jumped into one of my favorite shows, like
Yeah.
which is hard for me to do. Like when I watch a show, I'm not usually like, oh, it's one of my favorite shows. Luke Cage is a shining example of an exception to that rule. Because The Office, like even though I liked it a lot, I wouldn't say it's in my favorite shows. It's just
Yeah,
one of the shows I
same.
really liked. And like Jessica Jones is great, Daredevil's great. There are a lot of shows that I watch and that I want to keep watching, but they're not in my favorite shows. There's only like 5 or 6.
Right.
And that's hard. And 30 Rock jumped in from like episode 2. I was like, this is my writing type. Of like the writing was my type of show.
It's so funny.
And I loved
just-
the
love it.
Donald Glover cameo playing
Oh yeah,
a young
placing,
Tracy.
Yeah,
Oh.
playing. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
It's
about.
so good.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Oh, it
He
made me
has like
happy.
multiple cameos.
Yeah, he has one where he's like a producer with a mic on and he does
Mm-hmm.
that. That one's like hard to notice. But the one where he's dancing is pretty obvious.
Yeah, there's one where he's dancing. Also, when Tracy goes back to his high school to give like the commencement speech,
Yeah.
he's like, especially you, gay black guy in the audience, and it's Donald Glover.
It
and
was
he's like,
funny.
who told? It's really funny.
That was a great throwaway joke too. That show just has so many good throwaway jokes. It also has like my kind of jokes where it's like, oh, we don't need a cutaway for this. Oh, we're doing it anyway. Okay, good. I
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
exactly.
And it just has a special place.
I
in my heart.
love Leo Spichemin.
He's one of my favorite characters in the show, and I'm not like the hugest fan of him as an actor, so it's kind of impressive that
Yeah,
he is
he's like,
because he's crazy.
what do these
But
technical terms mean?
I think my favorite thing is like when he talks about the things that he has. Like,
Oh yeah,
it's just so funny. And for the live episodes, he's great. Those are really
great. Yeah, I love when they had Julia Louis-Dreyfus
That was
pretending
so
to be Liz because
good.
they
And like
just
when she
couldn't do-
tags her out and goes, "That's enough," and she like leaves the scene.
Yeah,
Oh, it's so good.
Yep.
I could go on forever, but
Me too.
I think you should watch 30 Rock. If you haven't watched 30 Rock, it's worth watching. And believe me, we didn't really spoil anything. It's
No.
just you learn it along the way.
it's
so I
so
wouldn't worry.
great.
My next topic, just a quick Erica thought. Zayn, I don't know if you guys know Zayn, from One Direction.
Yes.
But he had a hit Pillow Talk a while back.
Yeah.
And he just came out with a new song.
He
it's,
did?
It's called Zayn Still Got Time, featuring Party Next Door.
Interesting.
I gotta tell you, this is from EW. I read their review and listened to it myself as well, of course. It's like if Drake tried to make a generic like beach hip hop pop song with hooks, it's like one of Drake's new songs off his playlist, but like more generic.
So is it not good?
It's not good. Like
Oh.
it's an attempt. It's like it's like Zayn tried to make a
Oh, wait,
banger,
wait.
like a
I
summer
love-
pop banger,
I
and
love
just
that
failed.
I love that you call More Life the playlist, not the album. It's
Well, he says it's a playlist.
It's definitely a playlist.
Yeah, he
It's
says
not
it's a playlist.
cohesive
It's
at
not
all.
cohesive one bit. Yeah. So and like usually when like artists are like, oh, it's more of this or that, I'm like, okay, whatever. But in his case, literally, he made a playlist.
It's just a bunch of songs.
It's just a bunch of songs. There's no there's no cohesiveness to that at all. It's not an album at all. So personally, but that's beside the fact. I just thought I want to get Erica's opinion. Maybe I'll let you guys know next week when she reaches out. But I don't know, man. This one fell flat for me, and I actually thought Pillow Talk was okay. But this one just feels like he wasn't putting any of himself into it. He was just like, I want to make a hit.
Yeah.
You know? And he stole Party Next Door, but like he's like, yeah, let me get that person who makes other hits. Let's just make a hit. Like,
Other
come on,
person who makes hits.
you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
That
No,
guy.
I feel you. I like Zayn, but I wasn't the biggest fan of his album that came out.
Mhm.
I am excited for Harry Styles' single that's coming out this Friday. Shameless plug-in.
Is he the one who did that song that's on there all the time on the top 40? Who it's like,
No,
it's-
he hasn't come out with
no,
anything yet.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the other member of One Direction?
Yeah, Niall, who I love. That
Is he the one?
He's my.
Is he
he's
the one who
Irish
like has
one.
the guitar
Yeah.
song? Yeah, he did
Yeah.
it on James Corden, and I fell in love,
Yeah,
and I was
he's-
shocked because I was
that
like,
he can actually sing.
that he can write a song and sing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're all very talented. It's just
That's the weird thing
no.
to me.
I mean they
because they're a boy
they-
band.
they
Usually
made a
boy
lot
bands
of
aren't
money.
talented. Yeah,
Usually
no,
just
but like
one.
usually boy bands aren't talented musically, like in terms of like musicianship.
Niall
Shout out
is
to
for
JT.
sure.
Yeah.
I
Shout
love.
out to who?
JT, the original
Yeah,
boy
JT.
band.
JT, literally though. Oh.
So yeah, I was a One Directioner, still kind of am. It's just so hard to admit it.
Nah, I feel
But
you.
yeah,
But
so
you listen to it then. You let me know what you think.
I will listen to it. I didn't know he had a song out.
Well, we'll be back with that next week. That's going to wrap up Erica's thought, and that's going to wrap up Matt's thoughts as well, and the podcast as a whole. That's going to wrap it up for Art Things Considered this week. My name is Matthew Slaza,
I'm Sabrina Braga.
And I'm Nico Williams.
and we considered some serious art of many different forms this week. And don't worry, as we said before, Isabella will be back very soon.
And the Transformer things might not actually be a thing.
Still
Please
have hope.
Don't have nightmares.
Please don't do anything drastic.
Probably won't be 14 Transformers movies. We can protest. Change.org.
See you next week.